Our research, we knew that crime films involve conventional representations of characters such as quintessential representations of the criminal who is the main character and the victim being oppressed by the criminal. Our media product adapts various media forms and conventions used in a real media product, like the use of violence, dark colors, discreet and steady camera work, and low-key lighting. In that matter, these reinforcements are stereotypicals of the genre of the film. All this is referred to the mise-en-scène of the film that we produced. We researched and analysed various films like The Usual Suspects, The Purge, Memento and Taken. The following films were chosen due to the criminal-centric narratives and how the story is based around the criminal's failure or success. The criminals in these films are powerful and carry a menacing structure, so we wanted to use this idea of an intimidating criminal and adapt it into our film. Camera work and editing. The way in which we did this was quite similar to the opening of The Usual Suspects, where the criminal works up to a man and shoots him, and throughout the scene we didn't see the criminal's face. Similarly, our media film shows the criminal walking up to the police officer. The camera slowly pans around him without revealing his face, and the scene ends up with a gunshot. The purpose of using this form was to despite a similar impact that The Usual Suspects create on its audience by raising questions and leaving them under the mystery of whether the man actually got a shot or as to why we didn't see the criminal's face. In relation to The Usual Suspects, we wanted the mystery of the criminal to exist from the start to allow the story, characters and world they inhabit to be firmly established before this intriguing figure was introduced, which only elevates the tension and suspense further. Another camera work form that was closely embraced was from Memento, which were the cut-in shots used in the opening. Cut-in shots are used to show the primary subject of the action and lure the audience in as closely as possible during the action. In Memento, cut-in shots are used to shed light on the action that was taking place. Comparably, our film uses cut-in shots in the beginning during the credits to give the audience an idea of what has or is about to happen. When the maneuvering of the camera having the credit rolls over in the cut-in shots, we wanted the audience to be part of the action and view the shots from their own perspective. From research on previous films, I noticed that there was editing was usually fast, with the occasional lingering shots of the main characters like The Usual Suspects and Memento and Taken. However, we use various transitions for the cut-in shots to sustain the effect of camera movement, but at the same time develop the main character's image for the audience to recognize. Our first transition is to use in the beginning, where the shot cuts from the pan shot of the gun to the main character buttoning his cuff. Here we wanted to link our opening with the conventional crime film where the criminal's past or his motives are sometimes revealed. Costume and props. One crucial way in which we developed forms of conventions of real media products was the costume used in the crime films. The colours and dark and edgy to create an intimidating atmosphere for the audience and the secondary characters. In this aspect, we didn't want to challenge any form, as we followed the homogeneous convention of using the colour black, or in that matter dark colours, to sync with the elements of crime films. In the opening for The Usual Suspects, the two characters are seen wearing black, but the effect emerges in two varied ways. Where the man is sitting down can be seen in black, but he does bring form of darkness to his characters, but we know that he is of lower status as he is about to be shot, and the man who is standing, also wearing black, has more power, generating an intimidating and shouty aura. Likewise, our film shows two characters face to face, both wearing dark colours, but the audience can clearly see who has more power, as the camera is positioned in such a way where the authority of the criminal is evident. The dark colours in our film are used to fabricate the situation that the characters are in. Keeping in mind the primary props that are used in conventional crime films, we use similar props, the main one being the gun. Crime films are based on criminals, so the props must link to their lifestyle. Heavy weaponry and violent antiques are used by criminals to achieve their motives and ensure that everything is under their control. So we also decided to use a gun to signify the criminal's control and power who has over people. This is why we also wanted to end the scene at the gunshot, leaving the audience under the impression that the character is dangerous. characters of films are often represented in an either stereotypical, socially desirable, or typical manner. Our film opening consists of 4 primary characters that are stereotypical and unconventional to the genre. The main character who plays the criminal in our film is considered to be the most conventional character, as he is your typical villain in your story, who will get rid of anything and anyone who threatens his manor. Much like crime films, the criminals or central characters, as to say, have a certain style of dressing, and this gives them that power and status that reflects through the screen for the audience to discern. The criminal in our film dresses in a very stylistic manner in a suit consisting of dark and somber colours. This gives off a mysterious vibe, and his rugged exterior of an unshaven looks reflects to his stoic attitude. As he was a male character, he wanted him to be dominating and display a daunting image that male leads usually have in crime thriller films. In this sense, our main character represents the dominating male that likes to show his power, and especially males in crime films who have an overpowering attitude towards the characters around them, which reflects to the audience as well. The other male character in our film is of the victim, who plays an undercover policeman who is working with the criminal in order to arrest him. In the first half of the film, this character has an arguably powerful status where he can be seen ordering someone over the phone. His voice is loud and heavy, which allows him to represent strong and powerful males, and especially because he is a police officer, he has to evoke an intimidating personality. However, in the second half of the film, the second lead character status is diminished due to the criminal's presence. In crime films, when the criminal and victim, or rather when 2 males come face to face, one appears to have more power than the other, and the tension between the 2 characters is evident. Similarly, in our film, the criminal male character is shown to have more power and status than the victim. This is because the friction between 2 male leads helps to bring forth the dominating aspect that males would draw. In contrast to the stereotypical portrayal of males in our film, we executed females in a more typical manner, where in most films females are shown to be weak and vulnerable and depending heavily on the male to protect them. With the more unconventional representations of females nowadays, we wanted our film to reflect a similar attitude, with females being more powerful than the male and their capability to protect themselves. In our film, the 2 females work for the criminal but are their own self. They have their sets of motives and goals that will help drive the narrative forward and perhaps prove them to be more dominating than the male. We see the dark and dominating personalities of the females, with the 2 shot of the characters from the back where we don't see their faces. This gives them a tough, cynical look, where the black colour enhances the look further. Another example is when the 2 female characters push the victim against a wall and shout and threaten him to ensure that he is aware of their position. The films that we did researched on showed no female dominance or power from any aspect, as it was only males who had the power, much like in The Usual Suspects, Taken and Memento, where all the introduction shots are central male characters. Our film was diverse in that aspect, where the film was given as much importance and power as the male characters.